everybody, welcome to this video. Today we're going to be using the Lorac unzipped palette and a couple of the new products that I just hauled in my last video. So let's get into it. So first we're going to start with priming my face. Today I'm using the Lorac Spackle Under Makeup Primer. So I'm going to be using the Anastasia concealer in the shade 0.5. So now I'm going to take my beauty blender and I'm just going to kind of just lightly press over it. This isn't damp yet, so it soaks up a lot more of the product than just leaving it on the skin, but it also blends it in well enough to put foundation over it cleanly. So next is foundation. I'm going to be using the Kat Von D's Lock Foundation in the shade Light 44. I'm actually going to be mixing it with the Maybelline Dream Velvet Soft Matte Hydrating Foundation in the shade Sandy Beige. Mix them together. It's just two little pumps right there. Then I'm going to be taking my concealer brush and I'm going to just mix it together. I'm going to put the extra on my face, just in different spots. Focus. I'm going to be taking my It Cosmetics Airbrush Blurring Foundation brush. I'm going to be just dipping that into my foundation and then just putting it all over. I do go over my ears. I feel like a lot of people don't do that. I don't know, it just kind of, I feel like you can't just have like a straight line at your ear, you know? You got to blend it in a little bit. And I actually go over my eyelids also with whatever foundation is left on my brush. So we're going to go back in with the concealer. I'm going to use a bigger concealer brush. This is just what I'm using. It's a synthetic flat concealer brush. And I'm just going to be lining just a beige area. Now this is a really thick concealer, so a little goes a long way. So just a little bit on the chin. I'm going to line 2 lines on my Cupid's bow. I'm not going to blend it in yet. And then just like the bridge of my nose. And then my forehead. So whatever's left on the concealer brush I'll put on my forehead. I don't have perfect skin. I don't. So Mama's got to work with concealer in order to make things look better. Okay, so now I'm going to take my badescu rosewater, which is almost empty. Good thing I have a Becca. And my beauty blender, and I'm just going to spritz it. Probably shouldn't spray it over my computer. It's probably a good idea. So I'm going to take the fat, chubby side. I'm going to just blend out that little blemish right there. I'm going to do the chin, and I'm going to start on the outside of my concealer first. And then I'm going to blend that out. And then I'm going to slowly work towards the inside. That way it keeps the lighter side on the outside and then the thick, concentrated concealer on the inside. And I'm just going to pat the Cupid's bow just a little bit. Not enough to erase the lines that I have, or the highlight kind of that I have, but enough to kind of blend out the harsh edges. And just a little bit on my nose. And then my forehead. The baby hairs are not my friend, I'll tell you what. So a little bit on the eyelids, just with the remainder of the concealer that I have on my beauty blender. So now I'm going to be going in with setting powder, and I'm going to be using the RCMA setting powder, or the translucent powder I think it's called. I'm going to be taking my Morphe E48, just a little powder brush. I'm going to be taking my beauty blender, and I'm going to be going back over my eye. And then I'm going to set it with the powder first. Just to make sure that I don't have any creases that I'm now setting. Going back over the under eye, and then immediately setting it with the RCMA. I'm just going in with a bigger powder brush, and this is the Morphe E3. The Elite Collection is seriously amazing. I love the Elite Collection. The E1, which is this one, random side note, the E1 is seriously perfect for like blurring out bronzer, you know, blush, highlighter, whatever. It just like basically just airbrushes the whole area. If you have like a bronzer helmet, whatever, it seriously will blend it out perfectly. It's amazing. So now just setting the rest of my face. Okay, now we're gonna go in with bronzer. So today I'm actually, I don't know which one to use. I'm going to be using the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil in the shade Medium Dark. And I'm going to be taking my Morphe M527 and I'm going to be bronzing the face. So I always start under the cheekbone, just like as a slight mark for my contour, just slightly. And then I just kind of like work it up. It looks way darker on camera than it does in person. And then you gotta blend it down with the ears, with the neck. Other side. And don't worry about getting it over your eyebrow. In fact, I actually suggest kind of going over the corner of your eyebrow with the remainder of the bronzer, only because, you know, you haven't done your eyebrows yet, so it's okay if you go over it just slightly, just to make sure it's all blended and it's not like a white line. I'm going to start off on the edges, and then I'm going to work my way into the inside. And then I'm just going to blend it all. So next we're going to go in with blush. I'm going to be using MAC's Baby Don't Go. I am going to be using the MAC's Baby Don't Go blush, but I am going to mix it with a little bit of Becca's Flower Child. I have the mini. Isn't it cute? Is it cute? So I'm just going to be mixing them both together. I am going to be going in with this one first. I'm going to be using the Morphe E4. It's like an angled brush. So, makes you smile. Just slightly with this one. Top it off. I'm not too big on blushes, like putting them on my face. I love blush. I have a collection of blushes that I just adore, but I don't like putting too much on my face. So now I'm gonna just tap it, just literally just a peck, just like a smooch, like just a tiny one. And actually I'm gonna tap off the little bit that I have on there. And I'm just going to, just a little bit, just on the apples right there. Just kind of give some color, just a little bit. Maybe just, remember, just a peck, just a smooch, tap it off. Just a peck, like you're kissing your sister. Right, just a little bit. There we go. Next is highlighting. So I actually am in love with these Sephora Illuminating Radiant Drops. This is in the these are in the shade Morning Light. I always make sure I shake it first. There's actually a lot of product in here. I feel like you'll never really go through the entire bit. So I'm going to put it on my beauty blender. I'm going to put it on the fat side, but I'm not going to drop it. I'm literally just going to wipe the side just like slightly on the top of it. Just a tiny bit. And then I'm just going to be lightly at first highlighting my upper cheekbones. Ooh, ooh girl, oh girl. Just a little bit, just like brush the side of it on there. There's actually a lot, I put a lot on there on accident. Next I'm going to just slightly tap it first. Just slightly tap it first, and then just work it in. And I'm even just taking it just slightly up onto my brow bone, just slightly. It just kind of lifts the brow bone. I am digging it. Okay. Now I'm going to be setting my liquid highlighter, and I'm going to be using the Cougar Diamond Kiss Mineral Face and Body Shimmer. I'm going to be using the Morphe M501, great highlighting brush. I'm literally just going to dip it into probably like the lid. Now I'm just going to be putting it over the cream highlighter. So I know this sounds high maintenance, but I'm literally going to use a third highlighter. So this is the highlighter palette by Becca, the one that Jaclyn Hill's collabed with. I'm going to use this, but both of the shades that I'm using are sold in pans separately. Like Becca has them sold separately. So I'm going to be using Pearl and Champagne Pop, mixing them together, tapping it up. And I'm going to be going over the highlighted places that I put the concealer. So right over the Cupid's bow, just a little bit on the chin, and then the nose. And just like a little bit on the forehead, just a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to be taking the E1, and this is the blurring brush that I was talking about, and I'm just going to go over slightly what I've done, just to make sure everything is just well balanced. Do you see this right here? Do you see this? Oh my gosh. Let me stick a bobby pin in this thing real quick here. I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt. So sexy it hurts. Okay. Just going over what I have, just to blend it all together. So now that the face part is done, I'm actually going to be spraying it. I'm going to be spraying it with the Badescu facial spray. Thing. Can you do that? Can you feel sweaty and fresh at the same time? Side note, White Fox. Love this place. Love it. After you are all dry, now I'm going to go in with the eyebrows. I'm going to be using my Anastasia eyebrow brush in number 7, but I'm only using the spoolie. So I'm just going to brush through both brows. I'm going to be using my Chella eyebrow pencil. I actually got this in my BoxyCharm. It's in Tantalizing Taupe. So now I'm just going to be lining the bottom. I always start with the bottom. So then I start on the arch, on the top of the arch, and then I go down. So then I add just a few hairs up in the front. Just light, soft-handed, and basically with this, like, it's angled, so it's like the side of the brush. Now I'm going to be taking the same Anastasia brush and I'm just going to be combing over. So now I'm going to be moving on to the next brow. Now that the brows are done, we're going to start with the fun part. I'm going to be using the Lorac Unzipped palette. I already put this lightest shade all over the lid. And now we're going to be going into the transition color. And I'm going for more of a maroony kind of, like mauve-y kind of look. So I'm going to be using these kind of darker shades. I think I'm going to start off with Unspoken, which is this dark shade, this matte dark shade. And then I'm also going to be mixing it with a little bit of the Unconditional, which is the one right above it. And I'm going to be starting off on the outer corner. Tap them in both. Tap it off. I have a white rug, so it's probably not a good idea that I'm tapping off dark eyeshadow onto my white rug. Again with the blending, lots and lots and lots of blending. Now I'm going to be using a darker shade. I'm going to be using this one in the corner. It's Unbridled. And I'm going to be using the M441, which is just a big fluffy blending brush. And it's a dark shade and it's really pigmented, so start off with a little bit, tap it off. Make sure you start small because once you put it too much on, it's hard to remove it. So again, start off in the inner corner, concentrate it in there. Just kind of move it just slightly back and forth. And then start working it outward. I'm not going to be pushing it into my lash line. Only because I just want to really darken it up. It's really important to blend your dark shadows because, you know, it's not cute when you have just a straight line of eyeshadow. You really do have to blend it out. You also want to start off with mattes, only because it sets a good canvas for whatever shades you're using. When you use a lot of shimmers, I feel like they just kind of blend into each other, and there's just kind of like there's not really a lot of dimension. So when you use mattes and then you go into shimmers, I just feel like it adds a lot more to the look than just using a bunch of shimmers. So really blend out the edges. Yes, girl. I feel like it's not picking up how cranberry it is. It's really cranberry. You know what? I'm gonna zoom you in just a little bit. Make sure you're just blending in circles. And then just kind of windshield wiper motions. Now we're gonna be going in with a smaller pencil brush, and this is the E18. Just small. And the smaller it is, the more concentrated you can have it in that one spot and darken it up, add more dimension. So I'm going to be going in with Untamed, which is this darkest shade in the palette. And just dip it in there, tap it off. So start on the outer corner. I'm starting on the lash line. And then I'm just going to be working it out on the outside. So then I'm going to start blending it out just a little bit. So now I'm going to be taking the blending brush that I had before, and I'm just going to lightly, literally super lightly, because you don't want to blend out the work that you just did. So you're just going to lightly just kind of brush it over just a little bit. I'm going to start off with Unreal, which is this one. I'm going to dip an eyeshadow brush. This is just a regular Sephora eyeshadow brush. I'm going to be dipping into it so it's just like fully packed. I'm just going to be spraying it. Okay, that was a lot. Probably didn't need that much, to be honest. And work it into the inner corner. Lighten it up. Seriously, I love this color. Now I'm going to be going back into the same shade, the same shimmer shade. And this is now dry. And I'm going to be just tapping the dry eyeshadow on top of the wet eyeshadow. Now I'm going on the other side. Spritz. And you really want to concentrate on the lid. Don't go above the eyeshadow that you've done. You can blend it in a little bit, but don't go above the cut crease that you have going. Otherwise it looks messy. Now we're going to be going in with a clean blending brush and just kind of go in between the shimmer and the dark crease just to kind of blend it all together. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. Can you dig it? Okay, so now we're going to do the wing, and I'm using my Girlactic Precious Eyeliner marker. Okay, so I just put you in a little bit closer. We're going to do super dark lashes today. These are the Ardell Glamour ones. These are in Demi 101. I feel like these ones are already pretty short, so I feel like I don't really need to adjust them. I don't really need to cut the edges. You know what? You only live once, so let's do the dark lashes. Now let's make the sister match. They look really good. So now we're going to do the lower lash line. We're going to be going in with the same palette. I'm going to be using Unconditional, which is this color here. Make sure you're really buffing it out. Yes, girl. I'm actually going to line my waterline with a nude liner. I'm going to be using the MAC Nothing On, the retractable liner. I know it's hard to see sometimes. Sometimes people have like an issue with watching watching the lower lash line. Using the Blink Black Lash Primer mascara. It says it's a primer, but I like the thin, skinny applicator. You want to get as close as you can to the lash line underneath. And then we're going to do the lower lash line. My lashes are literally casting a shadow. Do you see this shadow? Literally casting a shadow on my face. So we're going to do a little bit of an inner corner highlight to just top off the look. I'm using just a tiny little brush. I'm going to be dipping into the lightest shade again. Actually, you know what? I'm going to dip it into a little bit of this light shade and then a little bit of this one, just to make a little sparkly. I'm just going to lighten up this inside, this inner corner. Just a little bit. Oh yeah, just a little bit. So the last thing that's going to top off the look is I'm going to use the Tarte's lip paint, the Tarte lip paint, in this shade Namaste. It's a matte lip cream. I'm not going to use a lip liner with this, only because I feel like it's pigmented enough, and I just feel like this certain lipstick doesn't need it. So I'm going to start off on the middle. And that's the final look. I'm gonna raise up a little bit for the hitty. I know my hair is a mess. It's probably hideous to look at this entire time. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I had fun creating this look. Please comment, subscribe, like, do what you gotta do. You can also follow me on Instagram as Rachel Bell Beauty. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye guys. I'm gonna do what Nicole taught me. It's like, you look